In Poland, the child was really a child. We didn't know anything. We haven't got all the equipment that the children have here. We were really children. I remember that when I was there to pick up the suit, I looked to the keyhole.
Yeah.
I looked to the keyhole because we were living opposite her, you know, and it was empty, nothing there. So I went.
Even the furniture was gone.
Everything, nothing was there.
But you said earlier that the walls were all shattered with shrapnel.
In one room.
Oh, only in one room, not the main living room.
No.
The bedroom.
My sister's room.
Right.
Where she lived with her baby.
So if she'd been in there, she would have been killed.
She wouldn't be alive. Because that's shrapnels, you know. Everywhere were holes. That's not in one.
So it didn't. Was her bedroom in the front of the house? Because if they were firing from the street.
They were firing not from the street, they were outside the town.
Right.
And they were firing from
just
there.
Into the sky.
Just into the... And her room was facing the backyard.
Right.
And the shrapnel went into her window.
Right.
And it exploded in holes everywhere, even in her wardrobe. The clothing that was hanging had all holes.
Right.
No one could have survived in that room.
Right.
But that's only the one room that was damaged.
So the rest of your rooms were all right?
All right.
So you continued to live on in them?
That was before the Germans came in.
So
and after we were, for 2 days, we sat in the cellar. Because they were shooting at us all the time. Not with aeroplanes, with shrapnels, and we sat in the cellar until everything became quiet. So we came out slowly, went back to our place, and we saw what's happening there. Now we're happy that she wasn't in as a child.
She'd been with you, hadn't she?
In the cellar.
Yeah.
So, after that, we slept one night. It was quiet. In the morning, we heard a noise. The soldiers were marching.
Oh, God, it must have been
we
terrifying.
looked out to the window, we saw the Germans passing, the military.
You say you saw the endless
So many
soldiers.
thousands of them. And I looked at them.
Did your house, where you lived, was it on a big road or a small street?
We were on the corner. That was big road. And we were living on the corner.
Right.
And we saw the soldiers
just
passing.
Wall to wall across, like how many across?
They were walking, I don't know how many were, 5 or 6 in a row. And they were walking. All the road was full of them.
Right. Did they walk or march?
March. Soldiers
they were arrogant.
Yes, they were walking, We heard the noise. So
did they have those helmets on?
Yeah.
Oh.
I looked at them. They looked normal people. I said, what?
Yeah. There's nothing special about them.
What's the big deal?
So they weren't
in the First World War, the Germans came in too. Yeah? And somehow everything was all right. So
in the First World War, the Germans occupied the same town.
Of course.
And they just coexisted. They didn't punish people.
Look, I wasn't there.
No, but you heard.
I can't tell you.
But you heard from your parents.
Yes, they live in peace with the Germans. They live in peace.
Yeah.
Soon after, the woman came with the Germans, and they took everything out from the shop.
But you were...
We were still living there.
You still living
So the shop was
there.
beneath, was it?
No, in a different place.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So
they came and she said, "Here is the Jew," with the Germans.
And your father was
Yeah.
quite upset.
And they told him to take the keys from the shop and came with them. And
was that with the notes as well, saying you gave...
and they went to the shop and they took everything out. All this stock that was there, they took out and they gave him a piece of paper. After the war, you will get, something. All right. My father came back. He was completely, he didn't know what's hit him.
The clearance of, you told us about the clearance of when you were forced to go and live in the Jewish quarters.
Because after that,
Yeah.
they gave us orders to leave the flat and to go and live in the Jewish area.
Ghetto, yeah.
It was called ghetto, but it was an open one.
Okay.
Not closed. Jews could go in and out, but they had to wear the yellow stuff.
The David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we found, luckily, a room with a kitchen.
But it's like, it's soon more people came in.
But not long after, they put a family into the kitchen. So
in the book I saw you were saying how you were surprised to see
all of
the
them
hunchback.
had hunchback.
Yeah.
I never saw a family, 3 people, that was a mother, a son and a daughter, all 3 with hunchback.
Were you beside yourself? Or were you...
Yeah, but they were very nice people. And the children, that means it was a mother, son and daughter, but they were in their 20s, the children.
They were Jewish?
No, of course. And they came from different towns, from where Germany. They took a piece of Poland, and that belonged to the German.
There's other half for the Russians, was it?
That was different. They put half Russian, half German.
Yeah.
But the piece of Poland that was in border with them was German completely. They took people out from there, and German family came to live. In any case, we belong to them. How the war will end, that is theirs. So we lived there till middle of 41. Every morning my father used to go.
So that's 2 years.
Every morning
Wow.
my father used to go out in the morning and try to buy some bread, whatever he could on the black market. Because there was no shops, no everything. And one morning he went out and straight away came back. We were still in bed.
Yeah, he was quite afraid.
He was white,
shocking.
Quick, get dressed, the Germans are outside. So we put as many clothes as we could on us, because how much can you take on your back? And soon after the Germans came, house, we went into the street full of people crying, some of them even not dressed. They
Wow.
didn't have time to get dressed. And they took us to a big place, open space, and we were sitting on our bags, not bags. We took a sheet from bed and put things into it and tied it up and put on our bags. So we sat on it, and every so often the Germans, they were all around, selected a group and took it away.
To the train station?
To the train station. Later we learned that was train station. And then they ran out of the trains, and told us it was already evening. They told us you can go back to your homes now.
And
now,
was it very cold?
That was no. That was
You said spring last week.
summer, spring, late spring.
Oh, that's right. Spring they came.
Yeah,
And
late
then-
spring. Don't you put in, because you're putting me away.
Oh, sorry.
And we knew that tomorrow they will come again.
Yeah.
So my parents, I think I told you about it already, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also saw in a book that you the second day you think it's going to be the same, and you
Yeah.
saw your uncle on the jeep, and your uncle was kind of dismissing your father.
No, look, my father had a big family. There were 12 children. We were not very close with the family of my father. We were more close
To your
my
mother, yeah.
And the family of my father was richer. Much
Yeah.
richer than we. And
So is that a sort of a class?
yes,
Yeah.
we saw them when there was somebody died or wedding or something like that. We were invited, but we were not close to them. Now, we were sitting, and I remember my mother was sitting on the back, and she had closed eyes, like asleep. And suddenly I saw my uncle in a horse, how do you call it?
Horse carriage?
Horse, yeah. They had, instead of taxis, a horse with a little thing in the back. My uncle was there. He was a doctor, and he had a place there. He worked for the hospital.
The POW.
Yeah. So they let him take out some of his family, to say.
Yeah.
So my father jumped on the thing and asked him to save my wife and child,
Was so begging in a way.
He was begging him, but he pushed my father away.
Did your father scrapped on the floor? Or?
No, he pushed him away, and he went. And I was thinking,
You saw that.
I saw that,
That's
and I looked at
devastating.
my mother, but she had closed eyes. So I was hoping that she didn't see it. And I was thinking, look, such a big family. He can't take all of them. He can take 1, 2 persons. Maybe he's more close to somebody else.
Or if he break the rules, he may get
That's right.
punished.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're a very rational person.
Look, you have to look at it the way it is. And after a while, they ran out of trains and they told us to go back. We knew that they would come back. So my father found a Polish family. Look, we had a lot of Poles close, friends with them. we left all our things with them. Because we couldn't take it with us into one room. And one of the family agreed to take me in, but not 3 people, you know.
Yeah.
And my father and mother had to look somewhere else to find. I slept at the family there. In the morning, early in the morning, I went out and started and ran to all the Polish friends to see where my parents were. And I couldn't find them.
And were you dressed in
I was dressed in my sister's fur coat, you know.
Yeah.
You could see that I was, and I was short, the fur coat was long. So I ran to the ghetto.
Do you pass the soldiers as well?
Yes, they were soldiers and I was going. I don't know how they didn't stop me. I don't know.
But you didn't
They
look
just
Polish.
laughed.
You didn't look Jewish.
But I was in the ghetto there.
But they might have just thought you were an adventurous child.
Poles were not allowed to go there.
Oh, right.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
God, that's amazing.
And I went
you
to...
ran the whole day.
Yeah, I went to our place. There was no one there. So I was running here, running there. At night time, I found my parents. As I said, there was one person that everyone was angry with him because he worked for the Germans, you know? And his house was free. The Germans didn't go to his house. So he took several people into the cellar. And in the meantime, all around, they took the people away, but didn't touch. And my parents were among them.
Wow.
Do you think he was he doing it for humanitarian reason or for money?
Look, he wasn't too bad. What he was doing, the working with German, he was thinking of his family.
Right.
That working
Okay, yeah.
with them, maybe he can save them.
Right.
Because at that time, you couldn't.
Yeah. So he was just Polish.
What do you mean Polish? He was a Jew.
Right. Okay.
In the ghetto, you didn't
Oh,
have
right.
phones.
So it's So it's still.
Did he actually pay some money
No,
to the
no,
Germans?
no.
No.
No, he wasn't a bad person. But his family was the first on his mind.
Yeah, of course.
He wanted to save the family. So by working with the Germans, he was thinking they will let him stay.
Yeah.
So next day, straight away, there were big placard outside that people voluntarily should leave Lublin because it's overcrowded and go into the country. And my father found, I don't know if it was the person who used to come to the shop, or he knew him, and the farmer agreed to let him a room.
Okay.
And that was 45 kilometers from Lublin.
So do you guys walk over there?
No,
or
on a cart,
a
something.
car? Yeah.
We came there, we had one room, it was a longish room. On the right, there was double bed, and on that side, one single bed. And then over there was a bench with water in a container, because there was no running water there.
Was there a well outside or?
Yes, in the yard.
Yeah.
You have to take out the
To the
water.
yeah.
And there were 3 of us, and my uncle with his little son, and my grandmother.
Wow.
We
That's
lived in
lovely.
that room. And we were there for quite a while, till middle of 42.
When you were there, you mentioned that
I
you were
worked for the farmer.
close with one of the girls.
Yes, Christine.
Krisha, yeah.
She was my best friend. Sometimes we slept in the, where they keep the hay, you know?
Yeah.
The barn.
The
The
barn.
barn. The
We
barn.
slept the barn. The animals were down and we slept up. And I worked for the farm every morning, all summer. At 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I don't know, they didn't have a watch or something, but they were leaving very early. And we worked all day on the farm, and lunchtime, somebody was bringing food from the house. We had lunch there and worked till night.
What do you usually eat at lunch?
Potatoes with pork, with whatever,
Yeah.
cabbage, what they were cooking. And we ate there. And we thought that the farmer needs me. I am working, so maybe they will let us stay. And then one night, in the morning, it was still dark outside. It was very, very early. We heard shots. So we dressed quickly and we ran outside. And the farmer told us the Germans are in the village. So we ran into the fields till we came to a forest. And we went into the forest and we lay down. We heard shooting and screaming. And
Was there a lot of shrubbery in the forest?
What
or
was?
Shrubberies. Like,
Shrubbery.
no, they were in Poland, in forest during the summer. You can live because everything grows there. There were blueberries, but not like here.
yeah.
When you ate them, your mouth was black.
Wow.
When you picked them, your hands were black.
Wow.
Completely different. There were plenty, but not all the time. That was seasons.
So you could live in some.
Mushrooms were growing, nuts on the trees.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, it was alive.
Tell me, in the village, did the other villagers know you were staying at that farm? Or was it a secret?
No, that wasn't secret. That was free. Over there, the Jews can live wherever they were.
But they cannot.
But they not to
Not
leave
allowed
the village,
yeah.
not to go to different village. So when everything became quiet after lunch, we started slowly going back. We came to a meadow. You know. We saw a group of people standing there and crying, and we came closer. We saw 12 men lying with their faces down like a clock, you know?
Yeah.
And all of them were shot in the neck. Not far from them, a girl about my age. He was just in a sleep. He didn't manage even to get dressed. Was lying like that. Half of her head was blown out. All around there was blood and pieces of bones, you know, scattered. And she had eyes open, you know, you could see the terror in them.
Yeah.
And her mouth was open too, probably from their last cry. And we were told that by 4 o'clock afternoon, that was about lunchtime, 4 o'clock afternoon, we had to be in the train station in the next village. If not, that's what we
That
can
will happen,
expect.
Yeah.
So my father decided that instead of going to the train station, we will make our way back to Lublin. Because over there he knew a lot of people and, maybe
But
you would be able...
that's a big risk as well. Because
Of course, it was
disobeying,
everything was
yeah.
a risk.
He sounds like a very smart man, though, from everything you've said.
And we took whatever we could on our bags. My mother was hardly able to walk. And I had a pack on my back, and my father had. My mother didn't.
But
And
you told us that the farm lady would want
Yeah,
you.
and we took what we get, and we decided to go. And the woman, the owner, said to my mother, said, Mrs. Fishman, leave Sabcha with us. She will be like our own daughter. And after the war, you can pick her up. And my mother wanted me to stay. And I started to cry. And I said, we shouldn't be separated. What will happen in 2 weeks' time? She will tell me to go. Yeah? But myself, what will happen to you will happen to all of us. So, by the end, my mother let me come with them. And we started walking. We walked for hours and hours. At that time, I think we made maybe 20 kilometers.
Wow.
It was already getting a little bit dark.
When you guys walking, were you on the road?
On the
or
road. On the road.
Yeah.
And we came to a village. And I went first. I ran to find a place to prepare some food, because we didn't eat all day. So I went to a farm that was first on the... and asked them if they can cook for us something to eat, that my father will buy for it. And so she made some soup with potatoes, she put it on the stove. And I was standing in the door, and I saw my father and my mother coming. My mother hardly could walk. My father was holding her, and I wanted to run to help him. I couldn't move. I was like stuck to I couldn't move.
Wow.
Tears were running down my face, and I couldn't move. Then they came closer, we came there, they cooked us some dinner, We ate, and my father replied them that the woman arranged for me to go to somewhere else because they couldn't take the whole family in one place. And they will find a place for my parents. So the woman took me to another village, and she told them that I came now from a different town or somewhere, that my family can't feed me, and I can work just for food, that I belong to her family, a cousin or whatever.
She must have been a good woman.
Look, she had work without buying. So I stayed with her. And I worked, but over there, I didn't work on the fields. I work at home, mostly.
So
Clean,
cooking,
that's what was that. And she had two little girls. One was about 6, the other one maybe 3, 4. And one day she told me, I want you to teach them the
How to
prayers,
pray,
how
yeah.
to pray. I didn't have any idea what prayers you say.
So
What can I? So every time in the evening when I finished work and I had to teach them the prayers, I used to find something, to engage them into something that the time passed. And I didn't know what to do, how I would get out of it. And but next day, it was already dark outside. The woman that brought me there, came and she told me, take your things and come with me. So I took my things I had. In a way, I was happy that she is taking me. I don't have to teach them to pray. But I asked her, where are my parents? And she said, I don't know. So I get angry. I said, what do you mean you don't know? Where are my parents? So she said to me, look, last night the Germans came and they found, not far from me, Jews hiding, and they shot them. And your parents escaped to the forest. And from there, they will make their way back towards Lublin. And I promised her that I will bring you to them. So I sat with her on and we started riding. We came before the village. She told me to get down and she will go first to see if no Germans are there. And for me to lie down and wait for her. I went down. It was...
Was it a cart?
Yeah. On 2 wheels, the
Jeep
horse, yeah. For 2 people on
Horse, yeah.
Yeah. I lie down on the ground. On the left, there was a forest. I always loved the forest, but at that time it looked to me so dangerous. Every leaf that was moving, I was thinking that somebody is there. All the fields were already after they cut everything. And that was by the end of summer or beginning of autumn. And nothing. I saw shadows. I was lying. I tried to.
So the whole landscape around you was threatening and menacing.
Threatening everything.
Yeah.
But I saw something moving. And I didn't know what the woman is going to do. I was thinking she would go to the Germans and bring them to me. And I wanted to get absorbed into the ground. I lie there. How long, I don't know, but suppose it wasn't too long. Then I heard the cart is coming back. I saw that she is alone, so I became a bit... And she took me and brought me to a farmer, not her farm. I was sitting outside and she went inside and talked with the men. And probably they paid him something and he said, okay. He took me where the animals are and I was...
The barn.
Yeah, in the barn on top. I stayed the night there. In the morning, I heard women talking. So slowly, I moved out, I saw two women, one elderly and one younger. So I went down, and they didn't know that I was there.
Oh.
The husband didn't tell them. So she saw me, he said, "You dirty Jew, out of here, I'm going to call the
Wow.
Germans."
Oh my God.
And she made a lot of noise, screaming at me.
Did you have the star on? Is that what made
No, how could I be with a star? I was in hiding.
it? No. Well, what I meant is...
No. And I was over there as a Polish girl.
Of course.
How can I have a
Yes,
star?
yes, okay. I was just wondering why she would say that to you, why she'd call you a Jew.
Because I was hiding.
Oh, so, yeah, okay.
So do you come down to the bum and...
I came down, and her husband heard the noise. So he came in, he saw her, he called her, and he told her. So she quietened down, and she took me inside. And I stayed with her for a few days. And I was working on the inside. When somebody was coming, I was hiding. Then one day, she came and she said, she's got somebody who will take me to Lublin. So I went out, and a man with a wagon, full of things, products or something, I don't know. And I sat with them. I even didn't talk to him, Probably he knew that I'm Jewish. We came before Lublin. He stopped the cart and he told me to get off. He won't take me any further. I have to walk. And the woman gave me an address where I will find my parents, where they will be. So I started walking, and one thing that I remembered what happened to me, I never saw a thing like that. It was raining, but not on me, only in the front. I was in between.
Wow. I have seen that. I was on a road once, and it rained on one side of the road, and I was in the car, and there was nothing on the other side.
That's what I remember. I was looking at the rain, but I wasn't wet. It was raining there.
Sort of symbolic.
So I was thinking maybe that's a good sign, I went a walk. It was quite a walk to come. I found the street. That was the street that we used to live, but further up. And it was a one-story house, but the rooms had the doors.
Yeah.
Instead of flats or something, every door had a room.
Wow.
I don't know what it was.
Like a motel.
So I went there, I had the number and address, and I knocked at the door, and a woman opened it. And she saw me, she pulled me in, and I recognized her. She used to work for us, a maid. I went into the room, she had a big room there, but it was full of our furniture.
It's very cluttered.
It's
Not
very
much
cluttered.
space. Not much space.
Then you have to go in between. And
Out of your home.
Huh?
Out of the home. She'd had all the furniture out of your apartment.
My parents probably put it in here to keep it for us.
Right.
Okay.
All our things, we put somewhere with friends, with Polish people. We couldn't take it. And behind a cupboard, I saw my mother sitting. So you can understand, we hugged, I cried, and after a while my father came. And straight away he told me that he arranged for me to go to Germany to work as a Polish Christian girl. I didn't want to leave them. I just found them, you know.
Yeah.
So my mother started to cry. And she said to me, look, what do you want from our lives? Why do you have to complicate it? It's still more than it is. You know that nothing will happen to us. They don't need all the people. That's what we believed. You are the one in danger. And if they will take you away, I won't live through it. But if we will know that you are safe, it will be so much easier for us. We will be able to look after ourselves better. And we will survive, we will meet again. Now, as much as I didn't want to be separated, on the other hand, I didn't want to be a burden to them. And I felt that I am a burden. Because they needed only young people.
Yeah.
That's what we believed. So on the spur of the moment I said, okay, you want me to go, I will go. But I was so angry with my mother at that time that when we parted, that's all in about 2 hours, I didn't even say a proper goodbye. It was like I'm going out and coming back. And my father told me, if I have to stay a night here, he arranged with a family, Polish family, that I will be able to sleep there a night. But if it will happen that I will need help or something, that I will be in trouble, to go to the old ghetto. I told you about it.
To see your uncle.
My aunt, Aunt Fella. And that was my father's sister. Over there, she will arrange for me to give them a message from me, and she will arrange for me. So I went first to the family that I had the address. And the minute I went in, I knew that something is not right. They couldn't look me in the eyes, you know. And the man told me, look, I am so sorry, but you won't be able to sleep here. Last night the German found a family next door, and they shot them all. And he was scared. I can understand it. So I said, don't worry, I will do something. So I went straight to my aunt, to the hospital.
Yeah.
All around, emptiness. The building were like, you know, without any wood. Whatever was wood, it was there, probably for heating.
Yeah.
You know, they look like skeletons, without windows, without doors.
It's all empty.
Completely empty. And I found the house, the building. I went in, and I remember there were stairs that were going like that. It was a beautiful building. And over there were doors, you know. And I was standing like that, and at that moment, my uncle, that's the one that pushed my father out, he saw me there. He said, what are you doing here? So I told him I need only one night somewhere to stay, because tomorrow I'm going to Germany. So he said, okay, wait here. Aunt Fela will soon come back from the ghetto, you know. She will do something for you. So I was sitting. I saw her daughter, was approximately my age, walking I remember she had a little dog, something.
Oh, wow.
She was walking up there and several times, and I didn't even look at her. She didn't seem to
Did she saw
recognize
you?
me.
No.
I'm sure that
Yeah.
she saw me, but she didn't even.
Acknowledge
So
you.
I just looked away, and I waited. It started to get a bit dark. Then my aunt came back, and she was with a man. I know that she was divorced before, so I don't know if that was her second husband or boyfriend. So he was a medical something. So she saw me. He said, "What are you doing here?" So I said, I told her that my father told me to come if I would have problems. I just need some place where to stay for one night. So she said, right here. And she with her boyfriend or husband went in upstairs to the room. And after a while, the man came out. He came to me and said, "Do I have to look after all the family? It's not enough that I managed to give work for your father. Do I have to look after you too?" So I said, "No, I'm sorry, but if you can't, don't worry, I will manage." And I turned out and went out. Now standing there, tears were running my face, and I didn't know what to do, where to go. And then I saw one of the soldiers, yes. He could have been 30, I don't know, he was older. And he saw me, and he said, "What's wrong? Why are you crying?" So I told him that I need a place to stay for the night. So he put his arm around me. He said, "Don't worry. I know a woman, a Polish woman, that for money she will let us stay the night there." And started to touching me,
Yeah.
And I was very naive at that time.
And you felt repulsed?
Huh?
Repulsed.
What?
Disgust.
Disgust.
Were
I
you
was
frightened?
thinking, no, I was disgust. Our own people. I mean, that's life or death. That's not that. That was my life wasn't at stake. And our own people, so I pushed him away and started running. And I ran until I came to the Polish area, so I slowed down. And I finished up on the main road, Krakowskie Przedmieście. It was already dark. I looked at the windows, pretending that I'm shopping, window shopping. I didn't see anything. I just went from one window to another until I came to a park. In Lublin was a beautiful park, Ogrodzacki. I used to go there very often and feed the squirrels. They were squirrels, and they came to your hand, You gave them the nuts. I went in and sat down, and the squirrels come around. I didn't have anything to give them. I didn't have anything for me even. I haven't eaten all day. Then I heard...
Were you wearing your sister's fur coat?
No.
You were wearing the blue coat.
Blue coat.
Blue coat.
No, summer coat.
Right, okay.
And the dress.
Yeah,
yeah.
summer dress.
You heard
And
the sirens.
I heard the siren.
Yeah.
They are closing at 9 o'clock. They were closing the park. And over there were no bushes that you can go hide. There were beautiful trees. You were not allowed to go on the grass. It wasn't allowed. So I had to go out because I couldn't hide there. I went out, and I was still. I remember that when I picked up my brother's suit, I looked to the keyhole, and I saw our flat completely empty. Nothing there. So I went back to the house, and I knocked at the owner's door. She opened the door, she saw me, she put me in, she said, what's up? She said, please, can you lend me the key of the flat there? And if they will catch me, I will say I had the key. I need only one night to stay. So she said, don't worry, you will stay with us. She had 2 daughters-in-law, and there were some small children, maybe something.
You said her husband.
Her husband was the first because when the Germans came, all the intelligentsia, all the people on high
level
were
leadership.
Were arrested and sent to Auschwitz. At that time, Auschwitz was not a camp for Jews. Jews were not there. There were political prisoners, murderers, and then they put the Poles over there.
And all the Polish officers were shot.
Yeah, after a few weeks, the wife got a telegram from them that he died of a heart attack.
Which is rubbish.
That's a lie.
Yeah. And
And
if she wants they burn the bodies. If she wants the ashes, so much and so much money to send them. Her 2 sons were in hiding. They were on the list too. They were looking for them. So she could feel
empathy.
No, she could feel what I feel. So I stayed with her all the night. And in the morning, I arranged with the man that I will meet him.
To pick up the suits? Or...
No, I already gave him the suit.
Yeah.
And he told me to meet him next day, somewhere.
For your ID.
And he will give me my birth certificate and take me to the place where the Poles are. So I went to the place there. After a while he arrived and he gave me a piece of paper. I put it in my pocket and he told me to go in. In you can go, but when you have to go out, you have to have papers.
Yeah.
So I went in, and first of all I had to
Was it just a big building or what was it?
No, that was a big, I don't know if it was military
barracks.
Place.
Military barracks, yeah.
A big place. And
was there a courtyard in the middle or something?
First of all, I went to the toilet to see who I was supposed to be. Yeah. I opened the birth certificate. I nearly got a heart attack. I was 16 at that time. I didn't look more than 13.
But
I started to develop late.
Yeah.
And in the birth certificate, I was supposed to be 22. Now, how can you convince anyone that I am 22? So I learned all the details from there, and I tore the birth certificate, put it in the toilet, and put the water down. And I went to the office, because I had to be registered. I went to the woman that sit there. I told her that I was just coming to visit my aunt. I didn't have papers with me, and they took me off the train and brought me here. And somehow I was very convincing. She believed me. I didn't look Jewish, you know. So she gave me papers on the name. I just gave them all the names from the birth certificate, but
except for
my year,
the year,
I changed. Instead of 1920, 1926, like I was born. And I stayed there.
You became Lydia.
Yeah, Lydia Voronik. And I stayed there for a few days. We slept on banks, and there were not, you didn't have sheets, you didn't have the pillows. It was a sack with straw in the bank.
Yeah.
I was on top, and under me was a woman with a little girl. I knew that she is Jewish.
Okay.
It was a little girl, and she called her. She said, "That's not my name." And she was, you know, trying to shut up the child. And before I fell asleep, I heard the woman talking.
Speaking Yiddish.
In her sleep.
Yeah.
So I jumped down from my bed and I half fell on her and I excused myself. I just woke her. I didn't want to tell her. And that's it. And when I was a little girl, my sister, that was 9.5 years older than me, sometimes she asked me something. And I didn't want her to tell her. I said, "It's a secret. No, I won't tell you." And she used to say, no, don't tell me. When you sleep, not only that you talk in your sleep, I can ask you any question you will answer. And I said, "Oh, yes. I didn't believe her. But at that time, I was thinking maybe I do speak in my sleep.
So do you pretend that you try to sleep?
No, I tried. That was in Hamburg. And over there was one girl. I don't remember her name. I knew that she is Jewish. She was too nicely dressed. You could see. She had a nice coat with fair collar and high boots, you know, shining.
Wow.
Over there were all the Poles, women from the country, you know, with shawl, with, you know.
Did you wear a shawl?
No, but I wasn't...
No, but I thought as a disguise.
No. I had the blue, not everyone had the shawls. And she was thinking that next to me, she will be able to pass through. So she was like a shadow.
Do you think she realized you were Jewish?
No.
Right.
If she would, she wouldn't be next to me. She was thinking that she can go through with me. And one day, they told us to stay in a queue, and they were giving one bread for 2 people. And I was trying to be separate from her. I was scared to be next to her. And I was already wanted to take the bread, and she jumped in front and took the bread for her and for me.
Wow.
So I had to be next to her. She had my bread. And we were walking. I don't remember, it's 5 or 6 in a row, but we're woman, walking. I was on the right, the last one. She was next to me. And we were surrounded by Polish police. And they were looking, there were no Germans there.
Only
Polish
police, yeah.
They were looking everyone in the eyes. if somebody blinked or looked away or something, they took him out. I passed, they took her out.
What happened to the bread?
We
You'd already eaten it?
yeah, not eaten, I had it.
Right, okay.
I had it already in my pocket.
I was going to say,
No.
I thought you might have taken the loaf with her.
But she's crying.
And
she's crying with
She
the
was kneeling. They told her to say prayers. That's the last what I saw of her. And we were walking to the station. On the way, when we walked, I heard the woman behind me were talking, "Oh, look, they are burning the Jews." It was
pouring ashes.
not ashes.
The
You
ghetto.
could see, not from the ghetto, they were burning people there.
Yeah.
Oh. At that,
In Majdanek, of course, that was extermination camp. First they were gassing them, and then burning them.
and it was called Mayadak.
Majdanek.
Majdanek, yeah.
Maidan Tatarsky was the ghetto next to it. It was closed. And you could see like a smoke,
The plume coming out.
Yeah.
That must have been horrifying.
I didn't know what it means, burning the Jews. I didn't know about the
Were the
crematoriums.
women were laughing or?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, that's horrible. Oh.
Behind me I heard.
yeah.
I didn't talk to them. And we came to the station. They took us to a place. Over there they separated us into groups. And our group went to Hamburg.